If your NZ Super landed in your bank this fortnight and it looked smaller than usual, you're not imagining it. And no, the government didn't quietly cut your pension behind your back. There are actually 5 very real, very common reasons your payment can drop. Most of them have nothing to do with a rate change at all. Today I'm going to walk through each one, tell you who's most at risk, and give you a quick checklist you can run through in the next 5 minutes. Kia ora, I'm David. Welcome to the New Zealand Pension Plan channel. We make videos for New Zealand pensioners and retirees who want clear, honest answers about NZ Super, WINZ support, Kiwi Saver, and the rules that quietly affect your money. Today's topic matters because a wrong-looking payment is one of the most common things pensioners worry about, and in most cases, the reason is simple to find and fix. Let's go through it. This is the number one reason I hear about, and it's the one most people never think to check. Your NZ Super gross amount, the rate you're entitled to, only changes once a year on April 1st through the annual general adjustment. But what lands in your bank account every fortnight is after tax. Your tax code is set by inland revenue, and if anything in your income situation changes, your code can shift, and you might not get a letter about it. Common triggers. You started a small part-time job. Your partner started working or changed jobs. You picked up rental income, or a second NZ Super started flowing in if both you and your partner qualify. What happens? If you've moved from code M to S, SH, ST, or SA, more tax is being taken out every pay Z, so your net deposit drops even though your gross pension hasn't changed at all. The big point here, NZ Super is not income or asset tested. Working part-time after 65 does not take your pension away, but it does change what gets withheld in tax. That's the trap. What to do today? Log into my IR at ird.gov.nz and check the tax code on your pension income. If it's not plain M, that's the first place to look. This one catches a lot of people out quietly. You're entitled to a higher rate if you're single and living alone. As of this year, that's $1,110.30 every fortnight after tax at code M. If you're sharing accommodation, even with an adult child, a sibling, or a flatmate, the rate drops to $1,024.90 every fortnight. About $85 less per fortnight, which adds up. For couples where both of you qualify, the combined rate is $1,708.16 every fortnight. The problem is, if your living situation changes and you don't tell work and income, they don't know to adjust your rate in the other direction, and sometimes payments continue at the old rate for weeks. What to do today? If anyone has moved into your home, or you've moved, ring 08 0055 2002 and update your living arrangement. It takes about 5 minutes and protects you from a debt being raised later for money you weren't entitled to. This is the one that surprises pensioners the most, and it's worth understanding clearly. If you ever had an unresolved debt with work and income, from years ago, sometimes from a benefit you were on before turning 65, that debt doesn't disappear when you start receiving NZ Super. Once your pension begins, MSD can recover that historic debt by taking a deduction straight out of your fortnightly payment. They should let you know in writing, but sometimes letters go to an old address, or the deduction just appears on your statement with no separate notice. Watch for this if you owed money back to WINZ at any point before turning 65, had a benefit reviewed and there was an overpayment, or you're now seeing your payment with a small debt repayment line underneath it. What to do? Look at the breakdown of your payment in your MyMSD account or on the paper statement. If you see a deduction you don't recognize, ring work and income and ask them to explain the debt in writing. You have the right to ask for a review. If the smaller payment you noticed was back in April, this might be your answer. The annual general adjustment kicks in on April 1st every year, but April 1st often falls in the middle of a pay period, so the first payment after the rise is only a partial increase. The full new rate doesn't appear until the next full pay cycle. So in April, lots of pensioners saw one payment slightly higher than before, one payment looking like it dropped back down, and a bit of back pay to make up the difference. It can feel chaotic if you weren't expecting it. It wasn't a cut, it was just the math of the pay calendar. If your payment looked wrong in April, check if there's a back pay amount or a one-off adjustment on your statement. If not, give work and income a quick call to confirm your code is back to normal. This one is seasonal, and we're right in the middle of it. The Winter Energy Payment, or WEP, is an extra non-taxable top-up that runs from May 1st to October 1st every year. Until October 1st, it pays automatically on top of your WINZ Super. Singles get about $20.46 a week. Couples get about $31.82 a week, whether you live together or apart. So if your payment suddenly looks bigger between May and October, that's WEP doing its job. If your payment suddenly looks smaller after October 1st, that's WEP ending, not your pension being cut. The trap is thinking your base pension has changed when really you've just lost a seasonal top-up. Last one, and it affects a smaller group, but if it affects you, it's important. If you're receiving any kind of pension from another country, UK state pension, Australian age pension, Canadian CPP, anything like that, New Zealand can offset it dollar for dollar against your NZ Super under international social security agreements. So if your overseas pension went up, your NZ Super can quietly go down by the same amount each week. Your total income stays similar, but the line item labeled NZ Super looks smaller. What to do? If you're getting an overseas pension and your NZ Super amount has shifted recently, check with work and income whether the offset has been recalculated. It's not a mistake, but it's worth understanding. Right before I wrap up, here's the simple checklist to run through any time your NZ Super looks lower than you'd expect. Check your tax code in my IRA. Is it still M? Check your living arrangement with work and income. Has anything changed? Look at your payment breakdown. Is there a debt deduction line? Think about the time of year, like is it April or just after October 1st? Think about whether anything has changed in your other income in the last 6 months. If you can tick those 5 boxes, you've covered 90% of the reasons a payment could look smaller. Almost all of them are fixable with a single phone call. The number to keep handy: 08-00-552. 002. Work and income. Quick recap. Your NZ Super rate only changes once a year on April 1st. If your deposit looks different, the cause is almost always a tax code change, check my IR, a living situation change, update WINZ, a debt deduction suddenly appearing, the April partial increase mechanic, the winter energy payment starting or ending, or an overseas pension offset recalculation. None of these mean the government has cut your pension, and most of them can be sorted in one short phone call. If this helped, please give the video a like. It tells YouTube to show it to more pensioners who are asking the same question. Subscribe to New Zealand Pension Plan so you don't miss the next update. And drop a comment below telling me, when you first noticed your payment looked different, what turned out to be the reason? Real experiences help everyone in the community. I'm David. Thanks for watching, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Kia ora.